Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So, it is the season of the corona and we're all trapped inside. It's been about 50 days of isolation for me and I'm losing my mind. I can only do so much craft before I start to absolutely fall apart, and haven't been working because we've all been furloughed. I've recently moved house, I've changed locales, so this is my new abode. Anyway, so I am going to be doing a little tutorial today. I'm going to be using some juicy little products from Danessa Merrick's. I'm going to be using some from Morphe. I'm going to be using some Jeffree Star stuff, and yeah, we're just going to have a bit of fun. So I'm going to start off with some Danessa Merrick's Beauty Oil, which is just so lush, and it's got this like beautiful gold particle in it, and it just, I die. So I've got my little dishy here. I'm going to mix, I don't know, I get pretty generous with this stuff, so I'm going to do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I don't know, 8 or 9 drops, let's say. A good little amount there. And then we're going to mix in some Becca Highlighter just to give that a little extra oomph. You could use, I know Danessa Merrick's does some insane liquid highlighters as well, so you could use those too. This is the Opal Becca Shimmering Perfector, and I'm going to give that a good squirt into my little dish. Good squirt of that in there too, right? So now I'm going to grab a little brush. So I'm going to use the famous M439 by Morphe. I'm going to give this a good dab and a good polish, just to really start off the skin right. Under the eyes as well, just to boost the luminosity of those dark caves that I possess. So what has everyone been doing? And how's everyone been going in this crazy time? I hope you're all safe and no one you know has corona. Do you know anyone who has corona? Tell me tell me in the comments below. That would suck. We're going to be using the Fluidity Foundation by Morphe, and this stuff is just so gorgeous. Door knock. Sorry about that. I heard the door knock and I was like, oh my god, a visitor! But it was not. It was a delivery for my sister, because I'm living with her and my mother at the moment. Like old times. So, now, where was I? Fluidity. Chuck a bit of that, whack that in your little bowl, like that, a good little dollop. You don't need much of this stuff, it really spreads. And again, using the M439, picking that really up evenly on the brush, starting in the center where I want the most coverage, and pushing out. And I'm just stamping it into the areas that I want the most coverage first. Right around, down to the tip of my schnoz. So what have I been up to? Well, literally I have been making crafts. I've been helping make over the garden with Mum. I've been visiting Bunnings far too much, as I probably shouldn't be in this, quarantine time, but a girl's got to do something. Because as you all know, I bloody love gardening. So gardening is just one of those things that's just not connected to anything digital or related to my work. So it's nice. It's a nice thing to focus on. But I really want that lovely, moist sort of look to my skin. And I think that's what I love about this foundation, is that it is just so versatile. You can take it and just put a little bit in with a little bit of oil, and even though it's technically a matte finish, look at that satin quality to my skin. Now, moving forward, cover up the dark circles. I'm going to be using some Peach, which is Jeffree Star's Magic Star Concealer. It is beautiful, and I find this suits so many different skin types, and I'm just going to whack that just very loosely under each eye, just like that. Oh dear. You know what, I've been contemplating a lot of things lately. Like, I was thinking about using M173 Morphe brush. I've been contemplating, maybe taking up a course in gardening or something, or looking at getting into teaching with makeup artistry, or I don't know, there's so many options. I'm just getting a bit restless with life, which is particularly exacerbated by the fact that we cannot leave anywhere, and you can only sort of stay in your house as much as possible. So, it really does make one contemplate the future, right? And look at that. Little buff in with the M173, and this, look at how much brighter my under eyes look. Magic. So, now we've done a little bit of that. What are we going to do? I'm not going to powder because it's cold. It's cold as down here at the minute in Melbourne. It is bitter, and it's raining, so I can't go outside to garden. I'm losing my mind. So I'm going to go with moist skin, not dry skin, even though I'm oily. Anyway, moving forward, let's amplify that glow a little bit by using some Danessa Merrick's Light Work palette, and I'm going to use whichever colours I feel. Just stay tuned, I don't know. And I'm going to take a little Morphe M530 brush, which is this is actually such a nice brush to use for powder blush, which I might use later. Stay tuned. Anyway, alright, let's have a look. God, I don't know. Let's do this colour here called Like Duh. And we're going to take that, and just on the very corner of the brush, just polishing that onto the skin. Polish, 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 just to amplify that juice. Ah! So good. And we're just going to polish that around the edges of the skin, up under the brow, a little bit just up the top of the nose. But I don't like to go all the way down because I just find that it makes my nose look so long, and literally it looks like a disco penis. And ain't nobody want a disco penis. Well, it has been a while. I'm going to take this gorgeous Morphe bronzer in the colour Megastar. It's a range called Glamour Bronze, which is something that is released semi-recently. And I'm going to take a little bit of that on the tip of this JH14 brush, which is a really lovely sort of kitten paw style, really long tipped brush. And this brush is fantastic to waft bronzer onto the skin when you have not powdered, because it does not leave big dirty streaks. Okay. Beautiful. Oh dear, oh dear. So, what else has been used? I really want to get my hands on that Jeffree Star, the 420 mirror. Oh, I want it so bad, but I am so poor, as I'm sure so many people are at the moment. Oh no, I've turned myself into Donald Trump. What have I done? I think that's a little bit too much bronzer. Oh dear. What's this queen done? I don't know, in the mirror it looks alright. In this light, I might need to tone it down a bit. It's a little too orange. I love the bronzer. It's a beautiful formula and everything. I just overdid it a bit. So that was an accident. What does a girl do when they have over bronzed but they do not want to powder? Because powder would be the easy option in this moment. I think I'm actually going to take a little bit more of my fluidity. Fun fact, my shade is F1.120, so, if your skin is similar to mine, that might be something you want to consider if you want to look at getting this foundation. We're going to take a little bit, I'm going to go back in with the M439 again. And I'm just going to really flatten that down onto the brush, not too much. And just stab myself, just to bring the intensity of the bronzer back a little. Because I love being silky smooth and bronzy, but there's a point where I don't look bronzy anymore and I just start looking like Napoleon Purtis, and nobody wants to look like Napoleon Purtis. So, there we go. Delicious. Now, let's get into the fun stuff. I'm going to start by using this baby right here, the 24A Artist Pass palette by Morphe, and it is so gorgeous. It is my favorite palette at the moment, because literally I can't afford to get anything else, but also because it is genuinely gorgeous. So, let's have a look. Look at that. Is that not the most gorgeous collection of colours you will have ever seen? It's got glitters, it's got pigments, it's got matte primary colours. I die. I don't actually know where I'm going. I did not really have much of a plan when I started this makeup look, so we're just going to wing it together. But the first thing I want to do is go back with that brush, the M530, and we're going to take some colour from here. And I'm going to go with this colour called Indio Woe, this one here. I'm going to pinch a little bit of that. It's like this sort of electric peach or a pomegranate colour, really stunning. And using this brush, see how well that fits into the pan? Like that. And then I can just very lightly just tap a little bit of that colour onto my cheeks, just to give me a little bit of life. It has been a hot minute since I've put on any makeup. I have been such a slob, which I'm sure, you know what, no tea, no shade, I don't care. If you are stuck in a house for 50 days and you don't become a slob, you're a psycho. I'm feeling a bit of a purple fantasy on the eyes today, so really to up that fantasy, I'm going to take the 0.00 Bright White Fluidity Concealer by Morphe. This stuff is incredible. Honestly, you could probably use Drug Lord by Jeffree Star Cosmetics. P. Louise does a really nice white base as well. I just love this consistency, and this stuff is only in Australia $14, and it is the... Can I swear? It's my channel. It's the tits. So, we're going to put a little bit of that, and we're going to prime the lid with that. Apologise for the really garbage lighting. It will get better, but since moving house, everything is everywhere. I have this gorgeous soap brow stuff that my best friend Tara gave me, and I cannot bloody find it, so I'm going to have to make do with regular soap for my brows. But that's okay, we can make that work. Okay, so now I've put a little bit of that white concealer on my lids. I want to take something and buff it out with, so I'm going to go back in with the M173, I think. I'm just going to very lightly just tap the edges of that white concealer. Sound off in the comments below. I'm always looking for a really juicy, good white concealer or a white base, because you will not believe how much this ups the colour game of your eyeshadow. I swear by it, even just for like really beautiful neutral nude looks and stuff, you put a bit of white under it and it just gives it a bit of electricity. Okay, so now that is done, I'm going back in with the JH51 brush, which is a little flat shader. Beautiful little synthetic brush. Natural hair. No, it is a natural hair brush, excuse me. Alright, Purple Fantasy. Let's begin. I am going to do that little technique of reverse blending, which, if you guys aren't familiar with that, it's something that I've picked up from quite a few artists sort of setting recently, and it's very different to what I normally do. Normally, if I was doing a purple smoky eye, I'd go with something really light like this to begin with, and I'd probably wash that right across through the crease and really focus that in, and then I would intensify. However, I'm going to flip that over, and I'm going to start off with the most intense colour, and really pack it on. Now, hopefully, that's why I like using this white concealer, because it is still quite tacky, and so I minimise the amount of fallout I get. I'm just working that on with really soft, even strokes. I'm not trying to bend the bristles too much. I'm sort of just really lightly patting that down, just so I can minimise the amount of fallout as well. Because nobody likes fallout. Look at that colour payoff. Oof. It is such a good palette. I find Morphe palettes are fantastic just because they do have so much creamy, rich colour intensity, and it's just oof to die for, especially for the price point. You know, it's just so accessible. Now, Stage Persona. I'm going in. I am fascinated by this colour. I think it is the most beautiful matte mauvey pinky fantasy, and I'm going to start to now blend the edge of that intense colour, the deep purple, which was called Major Inspo. I'm going to just start pushing this colour around the edge of that to help blend them together. I'm just buttering that colour around the perimeter. Butter. Now, in true classic Davey style, I'm going back in with Major Inspo and the JH51, which is the flat shader. And I'm going to be working this under the eye as best as I can with this camera angle. And I love it grubby. I love grungy, especially with my eye shape. I find that grungy look works so well on hooded eyes, which is what I have. Alright, haven't even blended that and I love it. I'm going to go back in now with the M441, which is a beautiful large blender. And just feathering that in. Just to give that nice rounded shape to my eye. Now going back in with a little bit of that Stage Persona just to help buff that through. And I think one thing I do that's probably part of my style is that I really like, excuse me, I'm burping, how rude. I am really pushing that lower lid. I blend that lower lid until it becomes almost imperceptible with the rest of my skin. It really just needs to just disappear really gorgeous and grayly. Just like that. I'm just working around and around. You get the idea. I still feel like this needs something a little bit more fun. I'm going to go back in with Ride or Sky, which is this beautiful deep Atlantic matte blue. I'm going to pick up a little bit of that. I'm just looking to tint the purple with a little bit more depth and a little bit more complexity. And I love taking primary colours and stirring them into a look like this because it just creates the most unpredictable purples. The kind of looks that you look at that and you go, what is that colour? Surprise, it's a whole bunch of them. Okay, now this is looking a little bit more like me. Look at this kind of like amethyst sort of colour that I'm creating. I love it. But now I kind of feel like I want to sort of bring a little bit more into the cheek. You know, like, do you ever find that when you do your eyes, after you do your cheeks, you're like, where'd the blush go? But you don't want to overdo the blush to start with, because then what if you end up looking like bloody Pennywise? So I always end up going back in and doing more blush after. Try to balance the intensity of the shadow out. I find that if you don't balance the intensity of the shadow out with the rest of the face, then it just looks a little off, which sometimes can work if you're going for a real editorial look, but not if you're trying to go for a bit of glam like I am today. Yes, love that. So now I'm going to go back in with Private Oasis, which is probably my most favourite colour in this palette, and it doesn't look it just looks like white on camera. However, it is absolutely so far from it. Ready? Can you see that gorgeous blue shift in it? Oh, it has this stunning purple and blue. It's like cyan and magenta shift. You'll see it when I put it on my face. I'm actually going to use my fingers for this. Just to really lightly, because I just want my pressure to be really, really fine. I don't want to disturb any of the base. I'm just polishing that on. In little circular motions, and what I tend to do is I tend to focus on just outside the outer corner, outer third of the eye there. That's sort of my sweet spot for my highlight, just here. And then I take it and I bring it out into the temple, up under the brow a little bit. And generally, I don't push the highlight any further than where the coloured part of my eye begins if I'm looking straight ahead. Why? Because I find that if I bring the highlight in under the eye, it does tend to exacerbate texture that we don't want. Another little rule I follow is I don't tend to often bring it up into the socket too heavily, because if I was to go in there, Jesus, can you imagine the stuff, the creases that would come out? Obsessed with that highlight. Love it. Let's take this further though, shall we? I'm going to create a little bit more of a festival fantasy now, and I'm going to use the Spotlight Stealer colour. It's a pressed glitter, and it's got a xanthan gum in it, which is a natural tree gum that acts as a beautiful natural adhesive. So I'm going to actually take this, which has got these beautiful chunky stars and everything in it, and I'm actually going to drop it. I know I just said I wasn't going to do this, but because it's got these big chunks in it, I just thought that would almost create a bit of a distraction, so you're not really going to get a lot of texture as much as you're going to go, oh, look at all these stars and all this glitter. Ooh. I often do that with my lower eyes, actually, not with the metallics, but that's why I love putting so much colour under my eyes, because it's almost like if you've got this hideous brick wall, right, in your backyard or wherever, and you're like, ugh, and you don't really love it, what are you going to do? Are you going to knock the brick wall down? Well, you can't, because it's your neighbour's brick wall. So what are you going to do? What you're going to do is you're going to cover it in plants or graffiti or art or something gorgeous to mask the brick wall. And I'm being really liberal with my masking. Alright, it's now time for brows and beard. So, I need a little flat brush. Oh, this is perfect. This is the JH46 brush, which is this lovely little short stubby shader. Smudger, yeah. And we're going to go in with Security, which is this colour here, which is this sort of tawny, tawky brown. I'm just going to push a little bit of that through my beard for a bit of volume. And when I'm doing this with my beard, you've really got to make sure you blend it. Male-bodied peeps, or people who just wish to have a beard. I used to hate my beard. I used to just want it gone, you know? But I've kind of embraced it as part of my identity and part of my expression now, and I am not mad about it. I kind of like how it sort of hyper-masculinizes parts of me, you know? And then you get these gorgeous little smoky eyes coming in that sort of feminise me, so that's sort of how I sort of combine my expression, you know? If that makes sense. I don't know if it made sense to me. Alright. Pushing. Keeping it not too buzzed cut, just that really nice blend. And trying to make it as even as possible. Yeah. Okay, now before I put that colour in my brows, I want to do a little bit of a soap brow effect. Now, how do you do a soap brow effect? It's very, very trendy right now. I picked it up from a fabulous makeup artist called Sarah Jane, who I work with, and she's just insane. So if you're watching, Sarah Jane, I love you. So, My best friend Tara gave me this gorgeous set of stuff to do soap brows with, and I've misplaced it and it drives me nuts. So today I'm going to be using some of this soap here, which is just the soap that came with one of the beauty blenders. I don't know, it looks relatively clear. We'll give it a crack. Why not? See how it's sort of, I think the key is as long as it's not like a milky kind of a soap, because it would make your brows go quite white. And I need a spoolie. Now you can buy them, you can get them off AliExpress for a whole bunch for not too much money, so I would recommend doing that. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking my Jeffree Star Continuous Setting Mist by Morphe. I'm going to take that, I'm going to spray the spoolie, like that. Oh, smells so good. And we're going to take the soap and I'm just going to very lightly graze the top of it. I think the key is this as well, is that when you're shopping for this, I know a lot of people use Pears, it needs to be a glycerin based soap, and I don't know if this stuff is, but it looks like it's glycerin based. Who knows? Alright, and I'm pushing against the hair, trying to make myself look like I had an electric shock. Really pushing up against the grain. Right, and now once I've done that, I'm going to go and behead any of the stragglers. Anything that stands up too loud. Alright, that's enough. Now I'm going to go back in with security, the eyeshadow security, and I'm just going to very gently fill any gaps, and sort of emulating that brush stroke. Doop, 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 doop. We're trying to create hair here. And I'm using a really narrow little angle brush, just to sort of lightly fill. Now through the tail where I don't have a tail, I'm actually going to go in with this colour called Seek Shade, which is a much deeper sort of rich brown, because I find that if you just use one colour, where the skin shows through, even after you've done the colouring of the brows, you can see the difference between where the hair is and where it isn't. So that just helps mask it a little more. Now, one of my little tricks that I like to do is I would go back in with, you can go in with concealer or whatever. I'm going to go in with the Fluidity again, a tiny dollop. I'm going to make sure that brush is clean. I could use a different brush, but they're all the way over there and I cannot be bothered. So giving this brush a good wipe down to make sure it's relatively clean. See, it's like a little angle. I'm going to go in with my Fluidity. The beautiful thing about this Fluidity as well is the coverage, so I can use this as a concealer. And I'm just going to cut off the very edges of my brow. Never ever panic about trying to make my brows look sharp, because it's all about the after. See what I'm doing? I'm sort of carving it out. That's enough. So now all I'm going to do is use the brush, and I'm actually going to use it almost like a little, sort of like a little trowel. I'm just grazing, using sort of the broad side of it, like the flat side of the brush, and just pushing the concealer out to blend it. Do you know one thing that I have always wondered is, would you all prefer one of two things? Do you prefer a long form sort of tutorial like this where we chat, or do you prefer those really quick ones? Because I thought you guys would prefer quick ones, but then you don't see my personality as much. So tell me, which one do you prefer, A or B? Let me know in the comments below. Alright, so what am I doing now? I'm using 714 by Jeffree Star. Now this is a liquid lip that was discontinued for a while and made a return. It is beautiful. It's this really lovely soft pastel sort of pinky peach flavour. I don't want to go for a really sharp lip. I never tend to, or well, modern day me nowadays, 2020 Davey, doesn't tend to go for a sharp lip. I find it's a little bit too full on with the beard, so I just want something nice and soft. I'm going to chuck a lot of this and just blend it. Get that coverage. And then I'm going to go back in with I swear that's got corona. This is called Fraise? I don't know. It's an orange lip gloss from The Body Shop, and I like it because it's kind of like a gel. And I wanted to take a little tiny dollop of that and just work that very softly. It's like jelly. And just print that onto the lip. Needs a bit more depth, doesn't it? I know what I'll do. I'm going to go in with the JH52, which is a little tiny smudger. Fantastic smudger. I'm going to take a little bit of this Indio Woe and I'm just going to put it into the center of the lip. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take 714, take a little dollop of that, and I'm going to pick that up on a Q-tip. Could use a brush, again, lazy. I'm going to take this and I'm just going to pop the tiniest little bit into my waterline. This is the cool thing about Jeffree Star lower lips, which is a well-known secret nowadays, is that you can use them on the eyes. They're totally eye safe. There, it just pops a bit more. Now, we need some mascara. I don't really have a favourite mascara at the moment. I'm using this random as one that my best mate Tara got me. This is a brand called Media? I don't know, but it's here, it'll do, and it's gross. I find, yes, formula, brush, but technique really is where you can make or break a mascara on your eyes. So if you ever have a mascara that's kind of a bit dry, subpar, change your technique. Don't apply as much in each pass and keep it fluffy and teased. And I like to fan my lashes outwards like this. Okay, I'm going to take the hair out because that's what you do at the end of a tutorial, isn't it? Get a bit of a comb. Look at how long and luscious my hair is. At least it's not knotty today. Alright, and Bob's your uncle. That, actually, no. One more thing. A little bit of continuous setting mist. Why do I take my hair out before I do this? God, that stuff smells so good. There we go. And there you have it. I'm all ready to go nowhere. A couple of things I would love to hear from y'all is, would you prefer these kind of tutorials or those little quick speedy ones? Also, give me some recommendations for mascara because this stuff just is not cutting it at all. And until next time, please stay safe. I know I'm just as eager as you guys to get back to normal life and go shopping and work and everything again. But until then, we're just stuck here with the internet and ourselves, right? So, I will speak to you all very soon. Please follow me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and all those things. The links will be in the description below. And when I speak to you next, well, hopefully it's all over. I'll see you soon. Mwah. Bye.